show. Now, during this hour, we shall be letting you know of what's happening at Kahawa Garrison. We told you this being October, the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There is an event that has been organized by the Kenya Defense Forces. We will be crossing there in just a short while. Right now, we need to get an update from the search and retrieve operations that are currently ongoing in Mombasa. You remember that car that plunged into the Indian Ocean on Sunday? Well, days down the line, what is the situation on the ground? And here is our reporter Boniface Musangi joining us live from Mombasa, ready to give us an update in as far as that issue is concerned. Boniface?
Yes, asante sana na shukrani kwa kuweza kurudi tena katika eneo hili la Mombasa. Bado tungali katika kivuko hiki cha feri cha Likoni, na kuweza kumjulisha tu mtazamaji wetu ni kwamba kwa sasa yule mpiga mbizi ambaye alikuwa ni raia wa Uswidi ambaye ni Volker Bassen ameweza kufika eneo hili akiwa na kikosi chake cha takriban watu 5 hivi, wote wapiga mbizi wakiwa wako tayari kuingia hapa kujaribu kutafuta mwili wa mama huyu na mtoto ambaye ameweza kupotea. Hivyo basi kupitia usaidizi wa kikosi chetu cha Kenya Navy cha wanamaji hapa, wapo tayari kuweza kuanzisha zoezi hili na kuweza kujaribu kutafuta gari lililozama katika eneo hili likiwa ndani na mama na mtoto mmoja. Kama mpiga picha wangu anaweza kujaribu kuvuta picha, kuna dau kwa sasa limeweza kuzibwa na feri ambazo zinapita hapa. Kuna dau ambao pia wako ndani tayari washaabiri, wanazunguka kwa sasa waweze kuangalia zile sehemu ambazo wao wenyewe wataamua tutaanzia hapa na kumalizia hapa. Kwa sasa wanazunguka katika sehemu hii ya ufuo wa bahari hivi kuweza kuhakikisha wanapata yale maeneo yao ambao wanataka kuanzia zoezi lao. Hivyo basi kuko na kikosi cha wanamaji ambao wanafanya kazi hii kwa ushirikiano wao, lakini madau kwa sasa ni mawili ya Kenya Navy na pia na dau ambalo limekuja la huyu Sweden akiwa na timu yake pia vile kuweza kuhakikisha wanafanya zoezi hili kwa pamoja na kuweza kupata mili hii. Nikiweza tu kukumbusha mtazamaji wetu ni kwamba raia huyu aliweza kusema iwapo ataweza maji atatulia na pia hali ya anga itakuwa shwari, ataweza kuzama ndani na kuweza kutafuta gari hilo kwa muda mchache isozidi kama masaa 2 hivi. Lakini pia vile akasema itategemea pia vile na hali itakavyokuwa kule ndani, kama kutakuwa na papa ambao ataweza kusumbua zoezi hilo. Lakini amefika kwa sasa ni kusubiri kuweza kuangalia iwapo ataweza kung'ang'ana kuweza kupata mwili huu na gari hili. Na pia vile wa familia, jamaa na marafiki wa mwenda zake wameweza kufika hapa kuweza kuweza kuangalia zoezi hili, wakiwa pia vile na mshawasha sasa, wakiweza kusema kwamba kufika kwa raia huyu pia na kikosi chetu cha wanamaji huenda kukazaa matunda siku ya leo na mwili huu ukaweza kupatikana. Hapa nilipo tu niko na mmoja wa familia ambaye tueleza kwa ufupi tu pengine mama, pole kwa kumpoteza mpendwa, na pia vile tueleze tu kiufupi nyinyi kama familia kwa sasa mnajihisi vipi na mnaona zoezi hili linafanywa vipi?
Sisi kama familia,
majina?
Kwa majina naitwa Mrs. Jacqueline Wafula, na kama familia ya hawa waliopatwa na
pole sana mama.
Kama familia sisi hatutoi statement, lakini tumeona na macho yetu. Mimi jina langu ni Luka Mbati, former councillor Luka Mbati wa Changama. Tumeona mzungu na tunaamini mwili utatoka.
Kwa hivyo kama familia sasa hivi mnaweza sema pengine mna kitu ambacho mnasema mzungu huyu akishirikiana na maji huenda pia mkasaidiana vizuri.
Ati
iwapo raia huyu wa Uingereza wa Sweden atasaidiana na jeshi letu la wanamaji, basi mwili huu na gari hili huenda likapatikana. Mna matumaini hayo?
Tuna matumaini kabisa, tuna matumaini.
Na matumaini pamoja na maombi. Tumepata maombi mengi sana. Wanaharakati pia wametusaidia sana. Ningependa kuwashukuru sana, na tunamshukuru huyu Volker Bassen ambaye amekubali kujitolea ili aweze kupata miili ya wapendwa wetu. Kwa hivyo tuko hapa kwa ukingo huu tunangojea, na tukiwapata pia tunashukuru sana.
Pole mami kwa wakati huu mgumu. Pengine Hussein Khalid, umeweza kukaa hapa karibu kwa siku kama 5 nimekuona hapa. Wewe zoezi hili kwa sasa unaona pako na matumaini ama ni vipi?
Nafikiri sisi pia kama walivyosema familia tunajiunga na wao matumaini yako kwa sababu Voka Basen amefika. Tunaendeleza maombi na tunasema waachwe wafanye kazi, kisha mengine yote tutayazungumzia pale tutakapoona mwili, ili tusimame pamoja tuseme mambo kama haya sitokee tena baadaye.
Shukrani sana na poleni kwa msiba mliopata. Na ni baadhi ya familia na wanaharakati tu katika eneo hili ambapo wameweza kutoa hisia zao kuhusiana na zoezi zima na pia kufika kwa raia huyu wa Sweden, kwamba wapo na matumaini kwa sasa ya kwamba huenda gari hili na mwili wa mwenda zake na mtoto wake waliozama hapa ukaweza kupatikana. Na pia vile vile kumekuwepo na makundi mbalimbali ya wanaharakati na pia vile vile ambao wanajiita ferry users, yani waabiri ama wanaoabiri feri hizi, wamekuwa na kilio chao na wanasema reducible minimum zao kuhusiana na zoezi zima ama shirika hili la huduma za feri, ambao wamesema wataenda kutoa kauli yao hapo baadaye kidogo, ili tuweze kusikia nao watakuwa wanasema masuala gani kuhusiana na zoezi hili zima la kuweza kuendeleza utafutaji huu wa mwili ambao umeweza kupotea hapa katika fuo yetu ya bahari. Na pia vile vile kulingana na msemaji wa serikali Cyrus ameweza kusema kwamba zoezi hili litaendeshwa kwa usaidizi pia wa kikosi chetu cha wanamaji, na mzungu huyu ambaye raia huyu wa Sweden ambaye ameweza kufika hapa akiwa na imani kubwa ya kwamba iwapo basi siku ya leo haitaisha, gari na mwili wa mwenda zake utapatikana katika eneo hili, na letu ni kuweza kuzidi kukita kambi katika eneo hili kuweza kuhakikisha lolote litakalojiri tunaweza kuwahabarisha na pia vile vile kuwaletea picha za moja kwa moja kutoka eneo hili ili tuweze kuwajuza kitakachoendelea katika eneo hili. Kutoka Mombasa, jina langu ni Boniface Msangi.
Thank you so much, Boniface Musangi. Now all eyes will be on 51-year-old Volker Basen, who has offered to retrieve the bodies of the two for free, and he is also the founder of East Africa Whale and Shark Trust. And of interest to you, maybe, is the fact that he is married to Nimo Jonjo, that is the daughter of former Attorney General Charles Jonjo. Now, we need to take you to other events that are currently developing, and right now we need to take you to Kisumu County and bring in our reporter Baraka Karama. Remember, he has been following up on the accident that has claimed the lives of 14 people, and he now joins us live with an update from the scene of the accident. Baraka, thank you for your frequent updates in as far as this story is concerned. Kindly brief us on what you've gathered this far.
Samuel, right now I'm at the Awasi police station, and as you can see behind me, that is the wreckage of that bus, the Eldoret Express, that was involved in a road accident along the Kisumu-Kericho highway in the early morning today. So as you can see, that is what is left of this particular bus. Actually, according to police reports, we are told that the driver was trying to overtake before being engaged in a head-on collision with an oncoming trailer. And according to police, they say that they've launched investigation to establish the exact cause of that particular accident. As you can see, this is what is left of the Eldoret Express that was destined to Nairobi from Bondo. Actually, it was from Bondo, and it had passed to Kisumu, to where some passengers boarded it before it embarked on the journey from Kisumu to Nairobi. As Ada mentioned earlier, is that the Regional Commissioner for Nyanza, James Kianda, says that they've already launched investigation into the exact cause of that particular accident. We also visited Njoroge Oginga Dinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, where we can confirm that 18 patients are still receiving treatment in that particular facility, and the bodies are still lying at the Ahero Sub-County Hospital, where the bereaved family members are trying to identify as they plan for the burial. So it's sober mood at the Ahero Sub-District Hospital, and actually the members of the bereaved family members are trying very hard to identify the bodies, even though they say that it is not yet easy for them to access the mortuary. They say that the police have not yet allowed them to get inside the mortuary, and they do hope that they'll gain access immediately so that they can start planning for the burial. As you can see from those pictures, is that this is this is the wreckage that is left for this bus that was destined to Nairobi from Kisumu. Actually, it is one of the accidents to happen in this particular area in this year alone. And as you can see from that particular area, is that those are members of the public who have come here in this particular police station just to try and look at the wreckage of this particular bus. The trailer that was also involved in this particular crash is also parked in just outside the compound of the police station. And like I mentioned earlier, police have already launched investigations into this particular incident, and will be able to give you information as far as this particular accident is concerned. Remember, according to James Kianda, he says that 50 passengers had boarded this particular bus. 50 were on board, and 38 have been injured. 13 have so far been confirmed dead. Among the dead, like I mentioned earlier, 6 male and 6 female, and we also have 1 child who also succumbed during that particular accident. So it's a somber mood that will still be making a follow-up in regards to this particular story here in Kisumu, one of the worst accidents to happen this year alone within Kisumu-Nairobi highway. So that's it from this particular region, Awasi police station. We are still trying to piece up the details. Maybe we are supposed to get a brief from the regional traffic commander just to try and establish. Remember, she said that they're supposed to give a report in the exact cause of this particular incident that happened early in the morning along the Kisumu-Kericho highway. Samuel.
Thank you so much, Baraka Karama, for that. And indeed, it's a story that will be forming part and parcel of our news stories during our subsequent bulletins right here at K24 TV. However, right now, we need to take you to court, and the hearing on the bail application of Sarah Wairimo, who is now a suspect in the murder of Dutch tycoon Tob Cohen, is currently underway at the Milimani Law Courts. Kindly let's cross over to the courts and listen in to what's coming forth in as far as this particular case is concerned.
Give grant bail without much further ado. Any evidence that might be cobbled up, conjured, or even fabricated at this late stage has no bearing on a bail application. They have had weeks and weeks in which, before the order of the court, gagging investigators from prosecuting our client in the media, there is no evidence. Newspaper articles that have depicted our client in a bad light are not evidence. The law is clear. It is a constitutional right for every person charged with any offense to be granted bail. It is not disputed as put in the affidavit that the investigating officers have the travel documentation or the passport of the accused. The question of being a flight risk does not apply. we have tabulated facts that show that the home of the accused person, a matrimonial home, is under, in a very strange way, belatedly, in the possession of the DCI. The DCI, George Kinoti, has the keys to her matrimonial home through Inspector Wangi. The premises are secured. So she cannot interfere with those premises. We also would like to point out that on the 13th of September, it's in the affidavit, when there was an alleged recovery of the deceased body at the home, one Mr. Patrick Moiruri, an intermeddler in this case, threatened the two servants of the accused, told them to go away.
Now that is Philip Murgo. Remember, there was an issue surrounding his suitability to continue representing Sarah Wairimu as defense counsel, owing to the fact that he's still gazetted as a public prosecutor with the office of the DPP. But of course, Stella Mutuku, Justice Stella Mutuku, did rule on that matter, and he said that gazette notice is not applicable in court. Now let's move on and run images that we're getting from Kahawa Garrison. Remember, this is the venue where the Kenya Defense Forces are conducting a cancer awareness initiative. We've got screening, we've got information, psychosocial support that is currently ongoing there. Rachel Omamo, the Cabinet Secretary Defense, is already there, and we've got our reporter Georgina Magondu, who will be joining us, if not during the course of the daily brief, during our subsequent bulletins, for an update in as far as what we can expect from Kahawa is concerned. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but right here in the country, we use this opportunity to highlight issues around cancer in the country. It appears entertainment is currently what is ongoing. Still staying with health matters, let's take you to Starehe Girls Center. Remember, the institution was closed, and there was an advisory that came from the Ministry of Health that those girls be given adequate time to go home and just even gather psychosocial support, courtesy of an illness that has affected quite a number of the girls in that institution. It's not yet known what it is, but we've got our reporter Gloria Milimo, who is on location and joins us live with an update. Thank you for joining us, Gloria, and good morning. Kindly bring us up to speed with what you've gathered from Starehe Girls Center today.
Well, good morning, Sam. It is rather calm here at Starehe Girls Center. Remember, yesterday it was a beehive of activity when parents came in for their children after being directed to do so. Remember, the school was closed indefinitely yesterday, just like you've put it, following a directive by the Ministry of Health that directed the school to release the students to at least go home and get psychosocial support after the ministry said that the students who had been quarantined following allegations of this strange disease, the ministry directed the school to release the students to go home, at least connect with their parents, get this support from them. And also they ruled out any possibility of an infection because the students who are quarantined are presenting with symptoms ranging from cough, sneezing, and also some were complaining of pain pains in the rib cage area while coughing. So really, this is a matter that saw the ministry swing into action, bringing in also specialists from the Kenyatta National Hospital who assessed these over 80 students who are presenting symptoms. So today we understand that the Form 4s are currently in school after the Form 1 up to Form 3 students were released yesterday to go back home with their parents. But since there are candidates for this year, they were not released. We understand that they're here. But if my cameraman can kindly just pan, there's not so much going on here today. The gates are closed. We're yet to get any response from the administration regarding what they're doing, given that 5 among the Form 4 students, 5 among the 80 students rather, who presented with these symptoms are said to have been Form 4 students. So we're yet to get a response from the facility whether the 5 were also released to go or they're still here with their counterparts going on with the learning activities. So we're just camping here hoping that we'll get a response from the administration of this institution regarding what they're doing, and also the Ministry of Health. We are yet to get clear report on their findings, because we also understand that some samples were taken to Cambry for further tests to rule out any possibility of an infection. So we will be keeping in tabs with this and updating our viewers in our subsequent bulletins. Sam.
Now, Gloria, even as we filed our reports yesterday, we sought to hear a voice from the school's administration, something that we haven't quite gotten yet this far. Is there indication on the ground that maybe today you could be speaking to one of them and they will be in a position to just give you more information in as far as this story is concerned?
We cannot ascertain that as of now, Sam, because as you can see, we're even doing our live link from outside the school. We've been barred from accessing, but that is something that we will try to get a response from the administration, just to get to know what they're doing in order to calm even the remaining students here, given that, like I said earlier, 5 among those who are currently here are said to have presented with these symptoms. And remember also, Sam, yesterday we saw shots of students just sneezing hysterically, and some were even saying that they complained to the administration regarding this issue, but it was not taken seriously. And also the parents who had come for the students here were skeptical about going back home with these students who had presented these symptoms, saying that they could expose the rest who are back at home to this supposedly strange disease. So we're just waiting here, hoping that the administration will give us a word regarding what they're doing in order to just calm the tension that has been mounting in this school for the past 2 weeks, given this strange disease.
Now, Gloria, did I hear you mention that we've got some students who are still within the institution?
Yes, Sam, there are students who are currently within the institution, but they are Form 4 students. Remember, those who were released yesterday were Form 1 to Form 3 students who were allowed to go back home with their parents to get this I beg your pardon, to get this support from their parents back at home. So the ones who are currently remaining here are Form 4 students who are going on with their learning activity, and like I said earlier, there are 5 among them whom we understand were among the 80 who presented with these symptoms. So we're just camping here, hoping that we'll get a word from the administration what they're doing to calm these students, given that the Ministry of Health ruled out any possibility of an infection. Sam.
Now, before I release you to sip some water, Gloria, one last question. Do we have parents streaming into that institution just to check on the section of students that have been left at Starehe Girls Center to concentrate on preparations for the upcoming examinations?
Well, Sam, like I said earlier, it's rather calm here. Remember yesterday, parents were streaming in just to go back home with their students following a directive from the institution. But as of now, we haven't seen any parents streaming in. Rather, we've just seen security officers. Maybe if my cameraman can pan, we've seen security officers just patrolling the institution, and the gate has been locked. We've not been able also to locate any student in the compound right now. But what we know is that the Form 4 students were not released yesterday. So they are the ones who are currently in school, just going on with their learning activity. And we will be camping here. Hopefully by 1 p.m. we'll also be updating our viewers in that subsequent bulletin, just updating them on what's happening here, whether we will be able to see any parent walking in just to get to know the status of their students, in this case, if they are Form 4 students, just to get to know how they are doing after this tension that I talked about having mounted from 2 weeks ago when the students started presenting with the symptoms. Some.
Thank you, Ria Milimo, for that update live from the Starehe Girls Center. Indeed, a section of the student population was released yesterday, that is Form 1 all the way to Form 3, to receive some psychosocial support in as far as what has been happening at Starehe Girls is concerned. A strange illness manifesting some symptoms that attracted the attention of the Ministry of Health, that moved with speed to ensure that those students are sent home. But we're made to understand that Form 4s are still within that institution, and 8 out of those who were left behind, as per our reporter, that is Gloria Milimos, had manifested the symptoms that drew the attention of the Ministry of Health. So moving forward, this becomes a story of interest right here at K24 TV, and we'll be getting a further update from our reporter Gloria at 1 p.m. during K24's newscast. Right now, it's time for a break. We return, however, with much more happening, including some politics. Amani National Congress Youth League had a lot to say in as far as statements that were made by ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna is concerned. So we'll be having that for you and much more after these messages.